What's up guys, it's Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at this little guy. The brand new released Timemore Black Mirror Nano scale. What I would probably consider the best Acaia Lunar alternative. So let's get into it. So let's just start with, it's a great little small scale. It fits perfectly underneath my Gadget Classic. No issues there. Really love it for that, for the small size. It's light, small, portable. It's got great accuracy with its scale down to 0.1. I know in my testing, I think the lowest measurement I've managed to get it to do is 0.3 by just dropping a few coffee beans on it. That's as low as I've managed to get it, but that's still certainly more than good for me. It's really fast and accurate compared to the cheaper scales I've owned in the past, sort of like £15 scales of Amazon. Yeah, they can weigh down to 0.1 grams, but their accuracy and the time it takes is not great. So as you pay more, you should get a better accuracy quicker and more consistently. So you've got three different timing modes with this, or weighing modes. You've got the regular mode, you've got the pour over mode and espresso mode. You've also got auto timing and auto tare features if you want to use them, but you don't have to. You can also turn off the beeps that it makes, which is also quite pleasant, because changing between the different modes, you have to press the timer button 5 times successively to get it to move between the modes. So turning that off is quite nice, otherwise you've continually got the scale beeping. You've got a nice backlit angled display. There's a nice quick start guide on the front which I liked. So on the scale, I'll pick it back up, I'll show it you. There's a guide on the front there. I don't know if you can quite see it in the light, but that basically tells you all the different functions, how many times to press, all that good stuff. So it's really handy. It's basically like a quick start guide, but stuck to the scale. And it actually says at the top, if I read it, remove this sticker after you're familiar with operation. So they've clearly thought about it, and that's nice, I like that. Also, the guide is pretty no nonsense. So telling you through the different modes. So with the espresso mode, it comes up with ESP on the scale, which is nice. So with that mode, you drop it under your machine. As soon as you put the cup on, it auto tares and the timer goes to 0. And then as soon as it recognises coffee in the cup, or as soon as the first drips, the timer starts. Now, in my experience, it needs to recognise about a gram-ish of coffee, 0.8 to a gram of coffee before the timer starts. Now, I guess there's the age-old debate of, do you start the timer as soon as you've pressed your espresso button, or do you like the timer to start when it's the first few drips? With this scale, obviously, you've got to take the second option if you want to use the auto timing function. If you don't turn it off and you can start it earlier, I guess you could, either way, it's a debate. Let me know down in the comments which you prefer. Do you start the timer straight away, or do you start the timer after your first drip? So I suppose that's a positive and a negative depending on how you like to brew. Then you've got the pour over method, which is a little bit different again. So what you do is that it doesn't have a mode or anything come up. So the actual, knowing the difference between the regular mode and the pour over mode on the scale, you don't, because it doesn't come up with any letters like the espresso function, which is a bit disappointing. I'd like to have seen like I don't know, what could you have, PRV or something like that to know you're in pour over mode. It'd be great. But with pour over mode, you get your everything ready. So if, say, you're brewing a V60, you will get your carafe cup, whatever you're using, your V60, your filter paper, wash it out. You basically do all that stuff, put your coffee in, and then you press the tare button once, which will then start the timing. It'll give you a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and everything will zero out and auto tare. And then from there, as soon as you start pouring, the scale will work. Then you have to stop that one manually, the timer. It doesn't auto stop because obviously depending on the pours you're doing, etc. It doesn't know, and it can't work that out for you, can it? but you can stop the timer, you can take the cup off, you could then put your cup and everything back on, start the timer again and carry on as normal, and then you just sort of hold the timer button for a second, I think, and it resets everything and you can start again. So that's good. It also has a flow rate, which is an upgrade, I guess, over the Black Mirror Plus. I press the flow rate button, but for me, one, it removes the timer, so the flow rate takes over where the timer was. So I don't want that myself, but also I don't actually understand the flow rate. It was giving me a number, I presume that's probably grams per minute or something like that. But to be honest, it was very sensitive and it was moving all over the place, and I just didn't really get on with it or need it or use it. So I mean, if that's something that you like, use, need, then it's there for you. But for me personally, serving no purpose, I won't be using it. So yeah, plus and minus for that, but I guess it's up to you to decide. USB-C charging, they say 10 hours of continuous use from the 780 mAh battery, which is great. So I don't think there's any issues with that. USB-C, nice charging. So let's have a look at the cons of the scale. Now, the 5 button presses is quite annoying for me. I'd like to see it less than that. I don't know why it's 5. It's slightly annoying, to be honest with you, because sometimes you press 4, sometimes you don't press enough. Yeah, I'm not too keen on that. Also, I think the button positions are not ideal on the side. I've done a review of the Timemore Smart Fish Kettle, which I'll link above. Which the buttons are on the top and they're very, very easy to sort of press, very easy, very tactile. The ones on the side is not so easy. And the thing that I found is the tear button and the timer button are opposite each other. Now, one time I was sort of making sure I didn't press too hard to move the scale across by resting my finger on the opposite side. But what I actually did in doing that is I was resting my finger on the tear button, which if you hold your finger there, it turns the scale off into standby mode. So that wasn't ideal, so I had to turn it back on. So I think they could maybe have squared instead of an angled design on the front, potentially squared that up and put the buttons on top and a flat display on top. I guess sort of like the Acaia Lunar, that type of look would have been preferable for me, I think. Also, yeah, like I've said before, the ESP mode, so the Espresso mode, is the only one that displays a visual that you're in that mode. The general mode and the pour over mode look the same, so it'd be nice to have something there which differentiates those two modes because they work differently. The general mode just works like any £15 set of scales or £20, whatever. It's just everything's start, stop, manual button operation. And then I think if we look at the sort of the elephant in the room being the price, right now it's a newly released scale. It's around £85 here in the UK. So it's not cheap, but I think it's the closest you're going to get to an Acaia Lunar in terms of the size of it. I mean, if you look at it in the palm of my hand, it really is quite small. It really is a small scale, and I do like it for that. And I guess it's sort of a £25 premium over the Black Mirror Plus, which the only difference is size and the flow rate. Well, to me, the flow rate, like I've said, is irrelevant. Don't care for it, not going to use it. But I do think for me, the size is definitely worth the price increase. So with that, guys, if you've got any questions about these scales, anything you want me to do with them, any information before you make a purchase, because obviously it is quite expensive for a set of scales, let me know. I'll do my best to help. Please, if you found this video informative or useful, give it a like. We really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Got plenty more coffee stuff coming. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.